All right. Hey, Michael. Thanks
Hi,
for your patience.
no problem.
How are you?
Oh, great. I like talking about the movie.
Yeah. Is that Bluebird Cafe, Nashville hat?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I love that place. It's
Me
awesome.
too. I just went for the first time not too long ago, and I had a blast.
Yeah. We went and we got there late, so we had seats in the very back for a TV taping. And I think the servers felt sorry for us, so they found us two seats like right in the front. Like
Oh,
where I
wow.
rested my feet on the stage.
Oh, on the stage. Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
Yeah, and
That's cool.
but then I ordered a hot open face roast beef sandwich, and I was like, well, "That's so dumb," because like the camera could catch me with gravy on my chin or whatever. That's
That's
not something you want to do.
yeah, yeah.
Well, hey, I watched this film. I think it was a couple days ago with
Uh-huh.
Larue, and just privileged to talk to you about it.
Oh,
It's your first directing job, right?
it is my first film directing job. Yeah.
Yeah. What was it? I would imagine I know it was a play. So was it at some point? What was your journey with it? Did you see it as a play and say, "Well, this is something I'd really like to tackle"?
Yeah, I saw it back in 2002. I belonged to a theater in Chicago called Red Orchid Theater, and our theater was doing. It was the first play we had done by this writer, Brett Nebu. I had never heard of him, and I didn't have anything to do with the production. I just went to see it, and I was fascinated by it. I kept going back to see. I think I saw it like 7 or 8 times. Just kept going back to see it because I thought it was so powerful and unique. And but that was back in 2002, and then all these years went by, and Brett became a member of the theater, and we've done a lot of his plays since then. And I've acted in his plays. I've directed a play he wrote, and yeah, he gave me the screenplay. He changed Eric Larue. He did the adaptation from play to screenplay himself, and then he showed me the screenplay. And when I read it, I just fell in love with it, and I thought, man, I should try and direct this. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I think what I really appreciate, it's such an intense movie, and it's something that I think these kind of movies to me are better watched by myself
yeah,
rather than like in a group or whatever. I mean,
no,
if as long as you have the right people, you can watch it in a group. But if
right,
you don't want to be distracted, but
right.
it also is a good showcase for your talent. And I think your directing really let them shine quite a bit,
Oh,
and
thank you.
gave some really good performances. Can you maybe talk a little bit about their performances and how you felt when the film was done?
Yeah, well, when I was reading the screenplay, I knew right away I could kind of see in my mind who I wanted to be in it. I didn't even have auditions really. I just asked people if they would do it because I was that sure of who should do it. And thankfully, they all said yes. I guess because a lot of them are my friends or people I've worked with before. They felt very I don't know. They felt an obligation to show up and be prepared. We didn't have a lot of time. These low budget movies, you have to shoot pretty quick. We only had 22 days to shoot the movie, and every actor in the movie to a person showed up completely prepared and ready to go. So they did a lot of the work for me.
Yeah.
But I love Judy and Alex so much. They were so brave to do this, to do what they did. It's not a very sympathetic position to be in, to be the parents of a perpetrator of this kind of violence. I think a lot of people assume that it's probably the parents' fault to begin with, and so that's a very scary thing to get into. And I just I was so blessed because I didn't really have to I didn't have to guide them too much, you know. I didn't have to explain anything to them really. They had done their homework, and they were always, even from the very first time we would do a take, they were giving me something that I could put in the movie. So I really, the modifications I made were pretty subtle. Yeah.
What was did you, as you directed, like you say, your first movie? Was there anything that surprised you about it? Now that this was totally on your shoulders, your responsibility. Anything that was kind
Yeah.
of new?
Well, I guess what surprised me about it, honestly, because I went into, you know, I'd always said I wouldn't direct a movie because it just looked like too much work, and yeah, it looked like too much responsibility, and it scared me. But I guess what really surprised me is that once we started shooting, I felt very at home doing it, and it didn't. All these feelings of anxiety I had surrounding it seemed unfounded, like
Right.
um, that I actually really was enjoying it, which is kind of strange to say, I guess, considering the movie I made and the subject matter and whatnot. You know, obviously there's a lot of trauma and some heavy stuff in the film, but the act of making it, the responsibility of making it, I actually I didn't mind it. I didn't mind it.
Well, I think you did a great job. Like I said, letting them shine, and just it's not flashy. It's very, subtle, but the performances against that backdrop, they kind of stand out. One of the things about the film, it raises a lot of questions, or it kind of is a showcase for what has happened in this community and with this family. It doesn't seem like that the writer or the movie really needed to answer questions. Would you say that it's just kind of exploring, because I don't. It doesn't seem like a lot of, like, everything is even unsettled at the end of the movie. It's really just a spotlight on what's
Oh
happened.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it. Yeah, by the end of the movie, yeah, you know, God, you know, I wish I just had a bunch of answers that I could just pull out of my
Oh,
pocket and hand them out to everybody.
right, right,
You know, the fact of the matter is, like I said, I saw this play back in 2002, and now it's 2025, and it still seems like the writer could have written it yesterday, and
right.
that's very disturbing.
Sad. Yeah,
Yeah, so
yeah,
I don't know that art in general is a place to find answers, but I feel like it's a place to find comfort. And I
right.
feel like in an odd way, like I said, despite the fact that this is can be a rough ride at times, I think ultimately the intention of the movie is to provide comfort, at least to the extent that perhaps you can relate to things you see in the movie, and that ability to relate to certain aspects of it may be therapeutic somehow.
Yeah, maybe just knowing that going on this journey with people and knowing what they're going through. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well,
I mean,
it's
that's an answer in and of itself. If you get a glimpse at the lives of people that you wouldn't necessarily think about or know much about,
right,
that's
right,
answering at least a curiosity that you might have about
right.
people.
Well, yeah. When I watched the end of it, like I was saying, films are not required, to provide answers. There's a mystery. There's something to discuss, and maybe when you get around your friends after watching it, then you talk about what you've learned from it. But not necessarily. It doesn't all have to be packaged in a, like with a nice little bow. And okay, we figured that out. Yeah,
Right. Yeah,
yeah.
I agree wholeheartedly.
Well, thank you for your time. It's an honor. I mean, you're an excellent actor and a great director. Look forward to seeing more from behind the camera. But
Well,
um,
thank you, Dwayne.
And anyway, it's great. And I mean, you were so good in all your roles that, they bring you back for the Flash and there you are, you're so
Oh
memorable.
yeah,
So yeah.
yeah. I didn't think I'd play that part again because I died the first time, but then they start doing all these multiverses. So who knows?
Yeah, I interviewed Ben Affleck after Batman, and he said, "Oh yeah, I'll never do Batman again." And then he's done it 3 more times since then. So
That's
now
funny.
he's saying he's never going to do it again. I'm like, okay, maybe
Yeah,
this is
right.
true. Yeah,
It's like the
thank
boy who
you.
cried wolf.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Michael. Appreciate it,
Thank
and look
you.
forward to more from you.
Thank you, Dwayne.